Hey everyone, today I'm going to be doing a video talking about a topic that I haven't done a whole lot of here on this channel, and that has to do with the topic of reloading. Now, I've been doing hand loading for almost 2 years now, maybe a little bit more than that, and so I'm definitely still learning things, I'm still getting better at things, and I'm finding things that smooth out that process significantly, and today I'm going to be talking about one of those products. Now, things may look a little bit different, may sound a little bit different. I'm trying out a couple new things here today, and I'm kind of close to the road right now, so if there is road noise, I apologize. We're just gonna have to make do with what we have. But just a little bit of background. The entire time I've been reloading, I've been doing dry tumbling, and you'll see my tumbler here in a minute. But up until now, well, I should say up until a couple months ago, whenever I was done tumbling brass, I had to piece by piece pull each piece of brass out, dump out all the media from inside, and then sort it one at a time. And this was an extremely time-consuming process. I would usually just set up my tumbler in my living room while I was watching TV or watching a movie, and just, again, one at a time, pull brass out. And when you do the type of volume of shooting I do, you're going through a lot of brass. So a couple months ago, I decided to pick up one of these from Frankford Arsenal. This is their wet dry media separator. Now, they have a couple different styles of these. I got the one that's kind of a big kind of bucket shape with the roller inside, which you'll see momentarily. But ever since getting this thing, I've done several thousand pieces of brass through this thing, and I'm really disappointed that I didn't get it sooner. This thing has cut my time dramatically, and just makes the process significantly simpler. If you do dry tumbling, you need this. If that's all you wanted to hear, then by all means, feel free to click away from this video. But if you want to see me qualify that statement or show you how I incorporate this thing into my process, then definitely stick around, and hopefully we'll get to some interesting talking points for you. So what I'm going to do is just set this stuff on the ground behind me, since I don't really have a table out here, and show you how this thing works going from my tumbler into this thing. So when you actually get this thing, there is going to be some assembly required. Really, all you got to do is put together the bucket here. So I'm just going to pop this top off here and show you what we're dealing with. Got some Ziploc bags for the brass I'm going to be taking out of here. But we have this little roller here on the inside, which has this little clamp or clasp, or however you want to classify it, that actually holds this thing closed while you're tumbling or while you're sifting. So what I'm going to do is open this thing up. Technically, should have it flipped around in the loading configuration. I'm going to take what also happens to be a Frankford Arsenal tumbler here. This is the tumbler I've been using this whole time. Again, several thousand rounds. Everything's been going just fine with it. I'm going to take these. These are some cases that I tumbled specifically for this. I overfilled this thing technically, but way too much brass in here, just to demonstrate how quickly this will sort several hundred pieces of brass. Tumbled it for a few hours, and just in case anyone's wondering, it was Hornady corncob media with some of the Dillon case polish that I tumbled it in for, again, several hours. And again, I guess we'll just dump this all in. So all we have to do, dump this into the tray here. Simple as that. And then we're going to close this, make sure it's all the way closed, and then pull the little tab here up and over. Return this to its center slot. Put this little lid on. Pretty self-explanatory how this thing clips into place. And then all we have to do now is spin it. So not a whole lot there, but that should be all we need. Didn't take too long. Just gonna prop this thing back up, and now we have all our brass nice and shiny without any of the dry media in it. So at this point, all I have to do is just pull this out and sort it into its bags. Again, this is significantly faster than any method that involves doing it by hand. They do have methods where you can just attach one of these to a 5-gallon bucket if you don't want this whole setup thing. But for me, this was just kind of the easiest way for me to go. So I can just now pull all this nice shiny brass out and throw it into a bag so that I can now go ahead and decap, resize, and everything else I need to do for the case prep. So really could not be simpler. This thing is not that expensive. I did pay for it, just FYI in case you're curious. The only things that I've noted, well, you know what, I'm gonna cover that standing up so it's not me awkwardly kneeling here. Now that I've got all the brass taken out of this, I'm just gonna close it up, set it off here to the side, and then we can just dump all this straight back into my Frankford Arsenal tumbler. And now this is ready to do another set of brass. So just to kind of cover the last couple things before ending this video, the only issue I've run into with this thing has to do with when you're tumbling brass that has had case lube applied to it, so pretty much any rifle brass. I have noticed that with at least the case lubes that I've been using, it tends to make the media a little stickier, and over time it'll start accumulating in that little bucket. So you'll still get a little bit of media with your brass. Really, it's not that big of a deal. All you have to do is just take like paper towels and a degreaser like I did and wipe everything down and you're good to go. But really that's the only downside that there is to this. And I wouldn't even call it a downside, it's just something to be aware of. And again, it just makes things so much simpler. Just to demonstrate, I just pulled all this brass out of that tumbler, and I guess I'll have to calculate how long it took from when I dumped it in to when I pulled it out, but it could not have been more than just a couple minutes. Doing this much brass before by hand would have probably taken me, I don't know, conservatively 45 minutes, doing it one at a time. So if you are doing hand reloading and you're using a dry tumbler, you owe it to yourself to get something like this, because again, it's just going to make life so much simpler. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, go and throw those in the comment section down below. If you want to see more stuff like this, if you want to see like a review of the tumbler, let me know. Or the other stuff that I use for case prep from Frankford Arsenal, let me know, and I can cover those in a separate video. Obviously, I can't go too much into the actual reloading process on YouTube anymore because of their new policies, but you know, it is what it is. So with that, I am uploading to full 30 now. So if you want to follow my channel just in case something does happen over here, definitely subscribe to my channel over on full 30 so you can stay on top of everything that's going on. And if you feel so inclined, I do have a Patreon now. So feel free to check that out. I post all my videos there early, as well as posting exclusive content and doing some live streams, giveaways, that kind of stuff. So definitely check that out if you're interested. But anyway, with all that said, as always, I hope you're able to get something out of this video, and I really appreciate you watching.